Right now, somewhere in the world, a clock is ticking beside a hospital bed. Every 10 minutes, another name is added to the transplant waiting list. Another family enters a quiet kind of suspense, measured not in days, but in organ availability. And every day, 17 people die before their turn arrives, not because medicine failed, because supply ran out. For more than half a century, modern transplantation has depended on loss. A heart becomes available only when another heart stops. A liver appears only after tragedy. The system works, but it is built on scarcity. Now imagine walking into a hospital where there is no waiting list, no desperate search for a donor. Only a screen above a laboratory door, displaying something strangely ordinary. Print queue. 3 organs remaining. Estimated time, 6 hours. Not a miracle, a factory. We may be witnessing the beginning of the industrial revolution of the human body, a shift from organ donation to organ manufacturing. This is bioprinting. To print an organ, you don't start with plastic or metal, you start with cells. Living, breathing units taken from the patient's own body, often stem cells capable of becoming many different tissues. These cells are mixed into something called bioink, a slurry of living cells and a hydrogel scaffolding material, a biological glue that holds everything in place while the cells settle in and find their neighbors. Then comes the printer, not the office machine on your desk, but a device precise enough to place material micron by micron, thinner than a human hair. Layer by layer, it deposits cells exactly where they need to be. So engineers borrow an idea from architecture. When you build a skyscraper, you first erect scaffolding, temporary support that disappears once the structure stands on its own. Bioprinting works the same way. A dissolvable framework is printed alongside the cells. It holds the shape just long enough for the cells to connect, communicate, and fuse into real tissue. Then the scaffold melts away, leaving nothing but living structure behind. Printing a full human heart still sounds like science fiction, but the journey isn't theoretical. It's unfolding in clear stages, each more complex than the last. The first level is flat tissue, skin, cartilage, simple shapes without deep internal plumbing. This stage is already real. In 2023, 3D Biotherapeutics printed a human ear, a geometrically complex cartilage structure, and surgically implanted it into a patient born without one. The ear took, the body accepted it. The patient walked out of the hospital with an ear that had been built in a lab. A quiet milestone, but a decisive one. The second level is tubes, structures like windpipes and blood vessels, still fragile, more dependent on internal organization, still under active development. The third level is solid organs, the heart, the liver, the kidney. This is where progress slows and biology pushes back, because solid organs face a brutal constraint. Cells need oxygen, and oxygen travels through blood vessels down to microscopic capillaries thinner than a strand of silk. Without that internal plumbing, cells at the center suffocate and die. A kidney the size of your fist contains 1 million tiny filtration units, each wrapped in its own microscopic blood vessel network. A liver performs over 500 distinct metabolic functions, served by a layered vascular tree that reaches every single cell. Printing the organ's shape is no longer the hardest part. Printing the vascular network that keeps it alive is the true barrier. In 2025, scientists at MIT demonstrated AI systems that monitor the printing process in real time, detecting structural errors as they happen and correcting them instantly, a step toward organs precise enough to function, not just resemble. Here is a fact that rarely makes the headlines of organ transplant stories. The operation is not the end of the ordeal. After a traditional transplant, the patient's immune system does what it is supposed to do. It recognizes the new organ as foreign material, and it attacks. To stop this, patients take immunosuppressant drugs for the rest of their lives. These drugs suppress the entire immune system. Every infection becomes potentially lethal. Cancer rates climb. Quality of life drops. Bioprinted organs built from your own stem cells carry your own biological signature. Your immune system does not attack them, because to your body, they were never foreign. They were always yours. No rejection, no immunosuppressants. One surgery, and you return to a normal immune life. The downstream effects of this alone, reduced hospitalizations, fewer opportunistic infections, lower lifetime medical costs, would reshape healthcare economics more profoundly than almost any single intervention in modern history. But the revolution does not stop with full organs. Before we build entire livers, we are already printing miniature ones. Organ-on-chip technology uses bioprinting to create thumbnail-sized functional tissue models, a mini liver, a mini lung, a mini heart. These organs on chips allow researchers to test new drugs directly on human tissue, predicting toxicity, effectiveness, and side effects. No animal model required. A drug that would have taken 12 years to reach market could be screened in weeks. Drugs that are toxic to human livers but not to rat livers, historically a devastating source of late-stage drug failure, would be caught immediately. We would not be printing organs, we would be printing a better way to build the medicines that treat them. Every technology that offers abundance also offers a new axis of inequality. Dialysis machines were meant to save everyone with kidney failure. Today, access to dialysis is still stratified by geography, income, and insurance. If a printed kidney costs $300,000 and requires a specialized surgical team found in 12 cities, who gets it? The nightmare scenario is not that we fail to print organs, it is that we succeed and then build a subscription model around survival itself. The wealthiest patient gets a freshly printed heart at 70 and lives to 120. The median patient stays on the waiting list. Biological inequality would no longer be a metaphor, it would be a literal, measurable, physical fact written into the cells of those who could afford the upgrade. Then there is a stranger, older question, the ship of Theseus. The ancient paradox asks, if you replace every plank of a ship, one by one, until none of the original material remains, is it still the same ship? Now apply it to a human being. At 55, you replace your failing heart with a printed one. At 62, your liver. At 70, your kidneys. By 85, every major organ in your body was assembled in a laboratory, not gestated in a womb. You feel the same. You remember the same things. But is there a threshold at which you have become something other than what you were born as? And if so, does that threshold matter? Legally, spiritually, personally? Medicine is preparing to hand us a biological choice that philosophy has not yet caught up to. There is one more problem, and it sounds like science fiction until you remember that ransomware shut down hospital systems across the United States in 2021. If your organ exists as a digital file before it exists as tissue, it is a file. Files can be corrupted, stolen, altered. The closer biology moves towards engineering, the more it inherits engineering's vulnerabilities. The cybersecurity of bioprinting is an infrastructure problem we're not building fast enough. There is a word for what is happening to biology right now: industrialization. The first industrial revolution took craft, the handmade, the slow, the scarce, and turned it into manufacturing, abundance by design. The same transformation is underway in medicine. We are moving from bodies that must be maintained by nature to bodies that can be maintained by engineers. The organ donor list is not a permanent feature of the human condition. It is a temporary artifact of a technology gap we are actively closing. The question is not whether we close it. The question is what we become when we do. If you could replace your aging heart with a printed one, one that guaranteed another 50 years, would you do it? And in a body rebuilt piece by piece, is the soul in the biology or in the continuity of the memory that watches it change? 17 people died today waiting for an answer. The lab is working on it.